Take it away, Daryl.
Hello, everybody. We're live. Three IT Guys podcast on this May Day, May 1st, 2016. Shout out to our third partner, Mac Ritter, the amateur, who will no longer be an amateur very soon. He'll be a established IT professional all the way. I'm here with Jeremy, like the guru. I see his head smoking, so he probably been thinking a lot today. We're going to cover a couple of topics. We're going to cover Linux DSH, distributed shell, Dojo Linux home security systems, KDE Connect. We're going to cover children in IT. We're going to cover educational apps, software, and programs. And we're going to cover something a little bit on home networks, like video storage and streaming to the different devices in your home, sharing files or whatever, having your printer on the home network so that everyone can print from it and things like that. So with that, we'll go into Jeremy's first topic, which is Linux DSH. Take it away, Guru.
All right. So I came across this article. I thought it was kind of interesting. It's on techmint.com. Let's see. And so basically what distributed shell on Linux allows you to do is have a group of machines set up by IP address and basically issue commands across multiple machines at the same time. It's available in the repositories for Debian and Ubuntu. And if you're using Red Hat, Enterprise Linux, CentOS, or Fedora, then you've got to download the source code and compile it. And then you can go ahead and run it and join us in the real world. So it appears to be pretty simple to set up. There's a configuration file, etc dsh machines.list, and basically you enter IP addresses in that, and then you can specify a command which will issue across all those machines in that file. Now, a few weeks ago, we talked about Ansible, which provides a similar mechanism. Ansible goes much further than this, but if you have fairly simple needs, I believe this has less overhead, although I have not tested it in depth. But if you're maintaining multiple machines, Linux machines, it might be worth a try, or at least reading a little bit more about it. So yeah, that's DSH, or distributed shell, and again, it allows you to run Linux commands across multiple machines.
So you got like 5 Kali Linux set up. No response, huh? All right.
5 Kali Linux set up. Where were you going with that? I don't understand.
Nothing. We cannot speak on that. Yeah.
I could tell you, but then I'd have to never mind.
Yeah. So now you mentioned repository. Do you know I just actually got a definitive understanding of what a repository was like last week.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. So some of those apps we were downloading yesterday, they link you to the GitHub repository and have you set it up. And I was doing that. But a lot of people, even intermediate level people, don't understand how a repository work. So can you give them a little rundown on that?
Okay. Well, if you mentioned GitHub, you may not be on the same page as me.
Oh.
a repository in Linux is basically a place where you have package files that you can download and install, generally maintained by the distributor of a particular Linux distribution. Although if you are a third-party developer, there's nothing stopping you from hosting your own repository for your software, and then providing instructions on how to add that repository into the user's system so that updates can be pushed through with normal utilities.
Nope, we're on the same page.
Okay.
The thing I took through
GitHub is a little different.
It was it had everything you said. It spoke on that. It allows you to do your third-party programming into your own repository for other people to download, and it also gives you the direct links to similar programs people are writing and want you to test or try out or whatever, and the instructions on how to put it as part of your programming or whatever. So it had all that inclusive in it.
Right, but this isn't for what I'm talking about. Isn't for programming. It's for installing software only.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So distributed shell, and for people that may have multiple Linux machines or multiple Linux, will it work on VMs too?
Sure. Why not?
All right.
As long as the VM is up and running, it'll work.
Yeah.
Shut the VM down and you're SOL, but hey.
Been there before. Okay. Now we're gonna, I guess, anything else to add to that?
No, I think that's all I had on that one.
Okay. My first one is children in IT. That's kind of inspired by some of the gifted kids we've been running across in the last couple of weeks in our endeavors down at the Pledge. When I started looking, researching things besides IT, children do a lot of things. Steve Harvey got a show called the Little Big Shots or something like that, and it shows kids with different talents, whatever. But children in IT, I think that's a good topic or field, because a lot of parents feel if they see their kids advancing in IT, that they're getting left behind. You got children can use computers, phones, tablets, and whatnot, and the parent barely can log into an email account. And so then trying to bridge that gap between the communication of the child's interests is sometimes difficult for parents or just general adults. Children in IT, something you mentioned you was gonna do with one of your relatives was build a video machine using the Pi, right?
Yeah. Yep.
There's tons of projects, coding projects. Pi is like a single programmable computer build that you can download different things. Maybe you want to build an arcade machine shape. Maybe you want to do a theme-oriented arcade game or something like that. Some of the ones I can quickly think of is like a Minecraft or something, retro Minecraft, or maybe your child has a favorite sports team and you can do a project around that sports team logo or icon or something like that. Arcade games, coding, networking. I just recently, like maybe a month ago, read a coding book for kids. It has them put the code together like a jigsaw puzzle. So if the pieces don't fit, then the code won't fit. But if the pieces fit, then they're actually essentially building and compiling code in I believe it offer like Java and C++ languages. I think it's very important us as adults or parents need to invest in the children, because that's our future. When we get too old to either type on the computer, see the screen or whatever, it's going to be buzzing technology, and we don't want to be left behind. And I say that because when we hold the PC clinics, you know, I see adults bring in computers that's XPs or functioning computers that can't be upgraded because it just simply doesn't have the hardware to support modern PC and modern PC components. So, you know, don't get something, and if you bought a computer back in 1988 and it cost you $500, I believe you got your $500 out of it. Let it go. It's very important that we stay. What's the phrase we use? Relevant. We stay relevant in IT because IT is moving forward at a fast pace in many different fields. Not only security, educational programs, different types of from Ethernet to now they got the what's the company? Go Lightspeed. Go Lightspeed got the 1 gigabit fiber optic internet. That's super fast. So but children in IT, anybody that has a child in their family or relative child, and you see them showing interest, try to spark their interest, try to do something around that and see where they're gonna go. IT, I thought initially IT was just like one field and you just learn one set of rules, and I quickly broke up from that thought process because IT is just as vast, maybe even bigger than the medical field. You can become a medical practitioner and still never be a doctor or brain surgeon or oncologist or whatever. So IT has many different paths that a person can go, both in hardware and software. So you really want to try to help that child find the right focus or the right avenue to go down when they're interested in IT. Or you can be like the guru. He just kind of well-rounded everywhere. So, you got anything to add to that, Jeremy?
No, I think you covered that pretty well. I've noticed a lot in the past several years that there's been more of a push to try to get kids, younger kids, interested in it, and working with different IT technologies in whatever way holds their interest. You know, there's been a push from the Obama administration for, you know, doing computer science in K-12 schools. You know, I can see the usefulness of that, but at the same time, is it going to end up in the market being flooded by people that may not have the best understanding, but they've got enough to get by and put out a half thought out product? You know, this is kind of where I'm at watching some of the things that come up on, you know, Kickstarter and Indiegogo and whatnot. You know, the ideas might be great, but they haven't completely thought it out from all angles. And then, you know, they sell enough to get big enough and be acquired by another company, and then that company quickly puts the brakes on it and abandons the product to fold it into something else. You know, that's kind of a double-edged sword. One of the perils of being an early adopter on new technology. But kids, from my observations, and I don't have kids of my own, but watching my nieces, kids tend to like instant gratification.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they want to put that product out there rather than, you know, thinking about it, testing it, trying to break it. You know, get it out there and get it in front of as many people as possible, and, you know, let the cards fall where they will, I guess. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting in the next few years to see how it goes with kids getting more exposure to technology, and you know, not every kid is going to latch onto it and run with it. I would say more gifted ones will. The ones are gifted as far as academically, maybe not physically. So these might not be the same kids that are active in sports, but you know, through whatever means they get involved and interested in technology instead. But you know, there are only so many people that can be sports stars, and likewise, there are only so many people that can be superstars in the IT field as well.
We're going to start the first IT Olympics.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Well, I agree with you there. Especially with the government involvement, K through 12. I think that just the general curriculum in America as a whole needs to be rewired and worked out, K through 12, so that not only is it balanced across the spectrum of schools, ethnicities, and socioeconomic peers in the communities, but also when I see a child and a parent take the time to help develop through after school activities, through weekend activities, that's the way to go, so that when they decide, okay, when I graduate and I want to go to college, that they're applying at the right college, they're applying for the right reasons, and they got a long-term prospect of what they want to do with that collegiate education afterwards. So by the time they do get into high school and they're into IT, they'll know whether they want to do software, hardware, IoT, like you did security. So it's many different fields, and they'll have a better understanding and be able to make a more competent decision in their future endeavors.
Right.
Okay, next on the list, Dojo Linux home security system. Now, Dojo, is that like we finna go do karate and flip hose tugs and breaking arms and stuff?
No.
Oh man. Man. You just use a party pooper.
All right. So this I found out about through an article on geekygadgets.com. The Dojo Linux home security system available to pre-order from $99. So the idea being it's a Linux-based home security system created to provide an extra essential layer between hackers, viruses, and malware and your home network and devices. There is a video about it. Looks like it's a YouTube video. Powered by Linux operating system, comes complete with a companion app to keep you notified and updated of any issues detected on your home network, which is kind of a twist, but the direction a lot of things have been going lately. Available to pre-order on Amazon at $99. And expected, let's see, shipping starting, apparently it started in March of 2016, if this went correctly. It looks like an interesting device. This article is rather vague, but I think any time that you can get a security device that is going to serve as a buffer layer between Internet of Things devices and the rest of your network, whether it's providing additional firewall functionality. It doesn't really come right out and say, but it sounds like an interesting device. I'm going to see if I can find some more information this week, and maybe we will revisit this one in episode 9. But right now, the details on it are rather vague, but it does look kind of interesting.
So, also from what I read, how different is that from a firewall?
Well, your normal home firewall is not really great. It provides basic functionality, but compared to something in the enterprise, it's minimal functionality, I guess you could say. If you buy like a home router with a built-in firewall,
right?
This seems to be looking at specifically Internet of Things devices and sort of securing those. And so if it can provide, some firewall functionality between those devices and the rest of the network, that could be an interesting level of functionality.
Right.
But it says that this says it's a sophisticated defense system that utilizes pattern recognition to learn to detect threats. Without even having to look at the data or knowing what's attacking, Dojo can block them. It listens to patterns, not your data. So, yeah, I'm interested to take a little bit deeper dive and look into this one a little bit further. Let's see.
That's it. Yeah, it says that, and it say it learns as it goes too. So that's a big thing with the IoT industry, like the Nest thermostat and those things that start building a profile of you. So this is gonna build a profile of your wireless network and detect it from there, from what I'm reading, correct?
Right. That's what it sounds like.
That is interesting.
I'm on their website now looking at their frequently asked questions. So it's got a cloud backend. It's got a mobile app. What is protected through this device? Any device that is connected to the home network is protected. IoT, such as IP cameras, baby monitors, smart locks, smart alarms, energy management systems, TVs, streamers, printers, and many more. Smart devices like smartphones and tablets, laptops, and PCs. And then IoT gateways, any gateway that is connected to the home network, wired and wireless. They're very upfront about saying that they do not collect any user data. It's just metadata related to the device's behavior and security or privacy related logs. The metadata is stored in the Dojo Labs cloud platform, which is highly secured. It does not contain any user data, cannot be used for a non-legitimate activity. That's kind of a bold statement. Let's see. So yeah, it sounds pretty interesting. Included in the $99 price, it says the Dojo device with its Pebble 12-month service, starting on service activation date and a 1-year warranty. Once the promotional campaign is over, Dojo will cost $199 with a 12-month service plan. So if it sounds interesting to you people, I'd say snatch it up while it's $99, or you're going to pay $100 more until they start dropping the price when the next version of it comes out. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit about it. It sounds pretty interesting, but beware of the early adopter, I guess.
Oh, you read the last part?
No, what did I miss?
They're doing a subscription, $99 a year. So
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, subscription. Man, everybody getting down. Now you can't buy nothing out right now. Even cars, they want to lease cars. They don't want to just sell you a car outright. Friend of mine went to a car lot to buy a car in cash, and they said we only do, financing. I was like, wow. We only do financing.
Then
make our money.
You have to go to a higher end car dealership then.
Man.
What did he do? Go to like a Ford or Chevy dealer? Tell him to go to a BMW dealer. I'm sure they'll let him pay in cash.
Man, that's crazy. Everybody want their money though, so I can't. And now also
more money.
When this do come out, and it do sound kind of sweet now that I reviewed some of the other documentation. Because, like you said, well, it said wired or wireless, as long as you connect it to the internet. And a lot of people, even with Facebook,
right?
How many people come home, get on their phones or their tablets, and sit down and start Facebook, and they don't know that they're leaving. Facebook is not on your local server.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, that might be something. We're gonna keep an eye on that. We're gonna earmark that for future updates.
Yeah, it seems like it's trying to be competition to the ITIS Networks Shield product, which was a Kickstarter product. I've actually got one, but I don't have it hooked up yet. So
I'm coming to do inventory at your house, man. You got all those gadgets and nothing hooked up. He's just sitting there collecting dust.
I've got a lot of stuff hooked up, but lately the problem has been things randomly crapping out on me and having to try to keep things up and going in light of those situations. So,
well, it crap on you. You gotta go big or go home.
Right. All right, so you're going to talk about some educational apps and things?
Oh, yeah. Educational apps, software programs. First, I'll start just with like PCs and things that's not connected. You can actually buy software, download it on a USB or whatever, and install it and have different learning programs. I went to what was the site I went to for that? For the internet, you got places like Khan Academy for mathematics, Purple Math. What was the other one? Something.org. Oh, graphite.org. Graphite.org got tons of free programs that covers different areas, math, science, ELA, and these are programs that's rated by educational bodies for their efficiency or how they deliver the message. And that's something that should be installed in every home that has children in school. You have schools, and that's sad. You have schools where the child leave home and may have a flat screen TV and cable, and they get to school and they got Chromebooks and all types of learning software and stuff. So they gotta like dumb down to go back home because the home is not. I know AT&T, not the name drop, but this is a good name drop. AT&T has the sponsorship of internet to any home for like $15 a month if a child is in school. And even though I think it's DSL, but even though they have internet access, you know, they shouldn't do that and expect to be sitting down there playing games all day, gaming all day with higher end graphics and stuff. So, but you have the learning ones. You have some have. It's a lot of schools going to the hybrid learning system, the online and the in person. So they have different ones. I know the college I go to now have a Connect Math. Connect Math has a whole series from general mathematics all the way up to calculus, physics. So it's basically videos, then problems, then work modules that you work through. Another one that I have looked up, it also was like most of the downloads or learning modules software has a Mac version and Windows version. I believe you, Jeremy, had turned me on to a learning environment through Linux. You want to speak on that a little bit?
Which learning environment were you talking about?
Just various ones, anyone's. And you know, Linux people that are getting away from Microsoft and you know get a machine and they install some type of Linux, Ubuntu or whatever on their machine. You know, they may not have this information where you know.
Right. All right. So as far as educational stuff for Linux, there is a derivative of Ubuntu called Edubuntu. It does not appear to have been upgraded yet for the 1604 release, but this comes loaded full of educational tools, from math and spelling to, you know, astronomy simulations. So your different constellations and things, you can view it all on your home computer. Some of the software is available on Windows and Mac, but it's primarily pushed towards the Linux running people. I'm trying to see if I can find a list of their software real quick. Let's see. They've got Gcomprise. They've got Tux Paint. There's Tux Typing. They don't give me a full list here. Let's see. Hang with me a minute. All right, this might be helpful. Okay, so they've got software from the KDE Education Project. So they've got a, it looks like a Simon clone. Anybody remembers that toy from years back?
Simon Says?
No, Simon, the 4 colors, and you had to press them in the same order.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I might have to check that out.
There's a Mr. Potato Head thing, and you can dress him up with different mustaches and eyeglasses and all that stuff.
You've got a lot of potatoes.
You've got your typing tutors. You've got your periodic table of the elements. The Gcomprise suite is aimed more at young children, like preschool age. It says age 2 to 10, but I found it working with my nieces with it that it's better for more like 2 to 7. Celestia is sort of that one of the constellation simulations. There's a Tux for Kids edutainment suite, which has your Tux typing and different things like that. Let's see. G Brainy is a brain teaser software. They've got stuff for desktop publishing, Scribus, GIMP, Inkscape, and Dia. They've included LibreOffice, and there's some other various things that come with it that are pretty common. It's a pretty solid suite, and you can keep kids entertained with it for hours and hours on end pretty easily. So it's worth checking out. You can boot it as a live DVD or throw it on a thumb drive, so you don't have to actually install it necessarily. But if you've got a computer that came with XP or Vista or 7 even, and you want to repurpose it and give it to your kids, then this is a great place to go, and then you can get away from the issues that tend to plague Windows systems, especially if you put a inquisitive child in front of it, shall we say, that wants to know more and is willing to break things in order to find out things. So let's just leave it at that, I guess.
Long as they don't do the roof access, I guess it's all right.
Right.
And then the second part of this is EdTech, educational technology. One of the articles I read was from Forbes.com, and it covered 6 of the best EdTech companies out there. They cover everything from 2 I'm more familiar with is Blackboard and Coursera. Jeremy turned me on to Coursera, but they also have like Tutor Group. Tutor Group is the largest English learning institution in the world. They have 2U, which is getting converted into colleges and stuff. They got Blackboard, General Assembly, and a couple more. The top one being Newton. They say Newton is apparently the holy grail when it comes to ed tech. The thinking is that consumers have to expect a personalized internet. Accordingly, pedagogical lessons tech should adopt to fit the needs of each student. And while that sounds wonderful, building such a sustainable technology is extremely difficult. Newton has been hacking away at the lofty goal since 2008. The company has since reached partnership deals to personalize learning materials for major publishers such as Pearson's, Houghton Mifflin, and Macmillan, and raised capital from the Founders Fund and Excel partners among top investors. So they doing wonderful things. I know some of our certifications go through Pearson and Pearson View, and most of my books come from Houghton Mifflin and Macmillan in terms of the academic level. So they really are doing something. Now, the thing I don't like about it is that it's kind of like the books I'm using now, like last semester, I take Python coding. I get to my class and all the machines got like Python 2.7. The tech department haven't even upgraded them with Python 3.5, which we are using. So by this time next year, it might be Python 4.6. And when I get a look at code from small other projects that's done in 2.7, people are just getting comfortable using it, and they've upgraded it and improved on it and whatever. So is the tech, the ed tech, is it going too fast to where people is not able to digest the level of information that they're putting out there? What do you think, Jeremy?
Well, Okay, so I guess on the Python front, I don't think you're going to see a big jump. Python has been fairly slow to develop, but as far as more generally the educational technology area, I don't know as though it's moving too quickly, but educational institutions have been used to moving in such a slow fashion that they think they make an investment now and it should be able to be used for 20 years, and that time it has long since come and gone. And it's I guess the best way to sum it up would be to use I believe it's a Japanese term, kaizen, which means continual improvement.
Sensei, guru.
And it's apparent to me that these institutions, and I know funding is always the reasoning behind not doing it, but there are some institutions that fail to even put in place a technology plan to plan for, this is where we're at now, this is where we want to be, in 2 years, in 5 years, and every year in that plan, you continue to make refinements and record your progress, and then you've got more data upon which to build the next plan when you have to do that.
Education tour, Jeremy. These board of education need to hear this when they get together, have their meetings, and decide what's the best educational path for the students there and the students that's going to be there according to the demographics of the community. They really don't take that into account. I should know about the diversity of the education from my nieces and nephews in different cities of the same state, in the same grade, and it's like night and day what they learning. I'm like, wow. Yeah, we going on board the education tour.
Yeah. Well, and fortunately, it's usually the low income and minority students that have it the worst. And there are a lot of organizations are trying to make a difference and those types of schools to help them get the same start in life that a Grand Ledge or an East Lansing or an Okemos might get, where it's primarily people of the Caucasian persuasion, shall we say?
Oh my!
And it's even in my teaching, I see struggles from different groups, and it makes it interesting as an instructor to try to be able to reach everybody in the classroom when some of them might have come from a history of schools that were underfunded and didn't have the best teachers available, and they're now paying for it as adult students and struggling every day to try to get through a program at a career college to better themselves. I applaud their efforts, but you know, it's something that I, as an instructor, struggle with, because you can't just make one plan and have it an even keel for everybody. You've got to sort of split the difference somewhere and try to raise up the people that are at the lower end and try to get the people at the upper end to help those people at the lower end, because there's only one of me and there might be 10 students in a classroom.
Well,
so
definitely something I say, just because an educator, teachers, facilitators, instructors, they may have the credentials to fit the bill for the job.
Right.
They definitely must have the personality to teach.
Yep.
I ran across teachers in grade school that had credentials to teach and couldn't communicate with a child if they was had to go to a reversion state to be a child themselves. They just was like,
Right.
I was like, wow.
Right.
And then I met teachers that have a passion and a gift for teaching. They can teach, man, they can teach an Eskimo how to make ice, so to speak. So, you know, it's about, it's not only having that credentials and a curriculum, but being able to convey it to your audience. And like you said, I actually sit in a couple of your classes where the disparity between the ability to learn from the lowest classmate up to me, you know, I went through with flying color. We remove all tags from it.
Right.
I wanted to learn what I wanted to learn.
Right.
So I went in there. You was a nice vice for me because you kept my mind enabled to learn other things associated with IT and look down certain paths and stuff. A person too can't fool themselves. And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna go to college and do this, and they doing it for the sake of proving themselves to somebody else or trying to further their education, but haven't thought it out, and they get in there and it's too much for them to handle.
Right.
You know, so me, I was very definitive on what I wanted to learn and when it learned it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, and you know, it's interesting to, you know, you get like a group of younger students, you know, 18 to 22, just out of high school, still living with mom and dad. And especially mom and dad are paying the bill for school. You know, they are not as interested necessarily in doing it for themselves and for their own long-term gain. They're more worried about, well, how do I get my parents off my back?
Yeah.
And you get somebody that's a little bit older and may have been somewhere else in school and not done real well, or life got in the way and they dropped out, and, you know, they come back and they have a reason for themselves that they want to do it.
Right.
And, you know, I kind of identify with the latter group, because I went back to school when I was 30. I left a full-time job, went back to school full-time. And, you know, maybe my grades weren't exemplary in all areas, but when it came to my concentration area in IT, my grades were up at the top for all but just a couple of classes. And then, you know, I had a screw loose, so I jumped right into a master's program after I finished up with my bachelor's. But then again, that was 2008 when gas was $4 a gallon, and I needed to be able to keep those student loans on deferral so that I could actually afford to put gas in the gas tank. So, you know, but yeah, you know, it's interesting how different age levels have different reasonings for being in school. And, you know, the effort level is much different in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I agree.
But
and let's see. Your final topic is KDE Connect.
All right. I stumbled.
KDE that don't stand for kids doing everything, do it?
No.
Okay, I'm just checking.
No. KDE is, if you people that are listening are not familiar with Linux, KDE is one of the desktop environments on Linux. And so recently they've added an application that allows you to sync your Android phone to your Linux PC. Whereas before this, there were not so elegant ways to do it, not so user-friendly ways to do it. But this actually is a nice little application that even a novice can sit down in front of and be able to sync their contacts and other things from their phone to their computer. If you're not running Windows or Mac OS. So from that aspect, it's a welcome addition. I'm probably going to have to sit down and check this out now because I am an Android user. And now that there's the new release of the different Ubuntu variations, the 16.04 version, I'm kind of itching to grab a copy of Kubuntu, which is the KDE based version, and maybe check this out and see how well it does syncing things back and forth from my Android devices to the computer. So worth checking out. It is a free application, so there's that little thing that it's got going for it being zero cost. But yeah, definitely worth checking out.
Nice. Gonna have to spin up a Kubuntu myself because I'm an Android user. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to check that out. See what we can come up with. Let's see. The last thing I got on my list is home networks, and I'm not gonna get like in depth with it, but I want to give an overview. Something that I noticed that I have, you have, Mac has, is a home network. I think unless a person lives by themselves or it's only like two people in the house, if you got a small family, whether it's children, relatives, whatever, and you got internet and all you guys got devices that's Wi-Fi, some type of home network should be set up, and you don't have to invest hundreds of dollars in nothing. You need to just go buy you basically, like I have a Seagate 4 terabyte external drive plugged into my router and configure. So that small home network is going to allow you to do video storage. Most Blu-rays and DVDs come with downloadables now, so you can store those on your home network. Another one that I've seen in like 3 cases, maybe over the last month, where it's a printer in the house, but the printer is not hooked up to a home network and it's not shared, so people have to like email a document to this one computer terminal or whatever, and then print it out from there. Why are you shaking your head? That is 3. I didn't see 3 cases like that, and I'm like, won't you just make a small home network and share the printer?
Throw the potatoes in the deep fryer.
Woo. So yeah, a home network for sure. If you can go ahead and afford, an $80 external hard drive and YouTube some stuff, the average person can YouTube how to set up and configure a home network off the modem router gateway from their local cable provider, local IP provider. You can share files, music, and whatnot. And so then that leads to gateways as far as like what Jeremy and I have, the Roku's, and different media players and stuff like that to be on the network. So that's something all the viewers, I want y'all to take a look at if you're at home, because just because you can log into Wi-Fi from your tablet, from your desktop, from your laptop, from your phone, you know, you should think about this, and it's something that should be there, especially if you have internet. I find it very advantageous and very useful. Jeremy, I can go over Jeremy house and probably watch a movie off his home network. I don't know. I know he can mine, but I don't know why he is. You want to add anything to that, Jeremy?
Okay, so what do I want to add to that? Okay, printers.
Nothing too complex now.
Printers are cheap. If you're going to go look for a new printer, buy one that'll hook into your home network. There's no need to buy a wireless printer. You can run a cable to your router from your printer and still have it accessible over Wi-Fi for your other devices. It doesn't have to be a wireless printer in order to be available wirelessly from other devices. The other thing that I would add is, without going too deep into this, is if you are hooking a hard drive directly to your router, make sure you are running any and all security updates on your router firmware.
Yes.
This is imperative because having it shared on the same device that does all your routing and all that kind of stuff for your network does put you in a position where it would be easier to get your data if somebody can get into your router. Make sure you're not using default passwords on your router, especially if you're going to share a hard drive on it. Make sure you're not using default passwords and that you secure your Wi-Fi if you're going to share a hard drive on it. If you don't understand how to do this stuff yourself, head to your local web browser and search Google or seek out a qualified IT professional to get some advice on how best to do this. So I guess that would be my 2 cents worth of addition onto that topic without going too terribly deep into it.
That was about $5 worth.
Okay, well. It's the first of the month. I'll get your invoice out here shortly.
Wow. I paid you the 33rd of this month.
So
with that, once again, this is a dedicated channel now. We have the 3itguys@gmail.com if you want to drop us a line or mention anything or want us to research something or find something, teach us about something. We all love learning. So with that, I don't have anything else. You have anything else, Jeremy?
I might just add that since we have given everybody our email address, if you want to be a special guest on our podcast, please send us an email and let us know what you might want to be talking about if you're selected to be on. And, then we can get some discussion going and plan an episode around having you on the show. It doesn't just have to be us. Right now the two of us, so we're like the yin and the yang of IT right now. But we're more than willing to have guests on the show. Just give us a shout out on through email or hit us up on Google Plus, or leave a message in the comments on YouTube, and we'll see about getting something set up.
Yep.
Nice shades there, yo.
Thanks.
Your future's so bright you got to wear shades.
Yeah, exactly.
Or is this more of a I wear my sunglasses at night type of thing?
No. Okay.
I take it you got both of those references.
Yes. Well, from the three IT guys, this is Daryl Alexander, and I'm sitting with the guru. I'll be a scholar too. And with that, I'm signing off for the night. You have a wonderful night. Mac, what's up, man? We miss you. Hurry on back. Take care, everybody.
All right. See you next week.